again, Bill. It's fantastic to be here with the son of William Vinton in celebration of Vinton's 100th year of business. The company's really changed since its inception in 1910.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about how the company started.
My father was very keen on the film industry right from the start. He did a lot of work with cars at the time. He was working in the beginning of the car industry. It was more of a trade than an industry then. But still the film world was the one that really interested him. A man called Charles Urban, who was an American working in England. He was a film, I suppose, entrepreneur, you'd call him these days. He had cinemas, he made films. He had a workshop in Water Street, and he offered my father a job as foreman. 2 or 3 years, he went back to America, but my father the workshop to run his own business. He jumped at, and he borrowed £600 from my mother, which he paid back within 2 years. And really, that's how the company started. He undertook mainly repair work, but before he left, Urban gave him an order for 25 Kinemacolor projectors, and that really started the company going. The films that came, they were mainly American in the British cinema then. They didn't ship hundreds of prints over. What they did was ship a dupe negative, and all the actual reproduction was done in England with. So processing machines, printing machines, waxing machines were in great demand, and he equipped most of the English laboratories with that stuff. He had about 3 years doing that work until the 1418 war started. Then a lot of jobs, engineering jobs, came in from armament manufacturers. But he also had a request from the Royal Flying Corps, asked him to build a camera we could hang over the side of a cockpit of the old aircraft, film the ditches. It wasn't a reconnaissance as such, it was done to boost the morale of the people at home, showing them what a fine job the army was doing in France. So that was really the first camera he ever built. After the war, that same camera he converted in a Model C. But it wasn't a great success because it was 3 times as heavy as the old wooden cameras, because it was built of metal. It was very expensive. I think he made about 50 of them, and they're still in use now as titling cameras. Yeah, they're well built. They moved in 1928. The workshop was up 3 stories. It was very inconvenient. It wasn't big enough. And they put the rent up by a factor of 3, and that was enough for him. So he decided to move out, and he found a plot on the North Circular Road. During this period, he started rather more cautiously and built the Model H camera. I think he started that in about 1927, 28. I can remember that because his little prototype movement that he was designing, he took one of my Meccano base plates to build it on, and I've always remembered that, so that dates it to that time. And the Model H really was quite a success. That really got us into the studio market. But my father built anything that the studio wanted.
The brand today is synonymous with the broadcast and film industry. Can you tell me a bit more about how the company made a name for itself?
The simple answer is that my father made anything that the film industry wanted. My brother, who was very much in the Second World War making F-24 cameras, he wanted the reconnaissance side, and he did a lot. And it was the biggest part of the company for many years. And I took it into the television world. And my 2 sisters worked for the company, and they gave a lot of time and their effort into it. But it was just the family. It was the other people who were in the company at the time that really put it where it is today. Bill Hakes particularly, who was chairman for many years, Dunningham, who was our chief engineer, a wonderful character, brilliant engineer, Dennis Ward and Peter Wayne, Rich Lindsay, who's still with us, Ed Gaglione. They gave a great deal to the company.
And given the company's involvement with the military side, presumably the Second World War created a huge amount of opportunities.
Yes, it was an enormous surge of work. I suppose in 1938, 39, there was probably 35, 40 people. By 43, there was over 300. I don't know how many thousands of F-24s we made. And we had to convert the company very quickly from a hand-built precision engineering company into a mass production company. We did it in about 3 months, but it was a real rush. The people who we employed, none of them were engineers or operators. They came from all walks of life. Some of them were pianists we had, and a lot of musicians, writers, anyone who was no longer needed because of the war had set everything, and they all came to work in the factories. But they'd never seen a machine before, and we had to train them to operate machines and to build cameras. After the war, my brother developed the F-95, which was the first small camera, so you could put them in fighter aircraft to get them to places where you wouldn't have never been able to get a big camera. We equipped many forces, not only the RAF, but foreign air forces as well, with the F-95 cameras. And then from them we went on and produced complete systems, reconnaissance systems. We built pods that fitted onto the aircraft, and cabins, so that the whole system was a Vinton system.